In a world where chaos and uncertainty often prevail, there exists a group of dedicated individuals united by their unwavering faith in Jesus Christ. Welcome to the Wednesday Breakfast Group, a community of believers who strive to spread the truth and love that the Bible offers. These remarkable individuals work diligently, often behind the scenes, to help others navigate through troubled times. Their mission is clear: to point those in need towards the light of Jesus and extend a helping hand to the less fortunate. Among these faithful servants is Joe Gazzillo, a man whose dedication to helping others recover from addiction has spanned many years. His tireless efforts often go unnoticed by the world, but to those whose lives he has touched, he is a beacon of hope. While much of Joe's work remains hidden from public, God sees every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, and every life transformed by Joe's unwavering commitment. Today, Joe brings forth a powerful message to the Wednesday Breakfast Group, reminding them of the profound impact they can have on others. A link will be shared with you, allowing you to witness this inspiring video for yourself. As you watch the remarkable story of Joe Gazzillo and the Wednesday Breakfast Group, we invite you to reflect upon the true essence of a Christian. It is not just about proclaiming one's faith, it is about living it daily and shining God's light in a world that often craves it the most. Join us on this transformative journey as we witness the remarkable work of the Wednesday Breakfast Group and Joe Gazzillo, knowing that every act of love, compassion, and dedication will be honored by God.
In Charlie's prayer, he's just help us to love you more. And that's the whole thing. Love conquers everything, doesn't it? It really does. Love conquers it all. And it's one of these things that we have to be reminded every day that's the kind of mindset we get up and get into. But being a follower of Jesus is not something we just do on Sunday. It's something we do all the time. And the quicker we realize that, the more contentment and the more peace you're going to get in your life, I can tell you. You may think it's a lot of flack coming at you all the time, and normally it is, because you're doing something. And when you're doing something for Jesus, you're going to get the incoming. I can tell you that. It's going to happen. Joe is one of the ones kind of that works behind the scenes a lot of times in his ministry. And his ministry is, of course, with people that are in recovery and nurturing these guys along. We don't see a lot of that. You see, and there's so many of you in here the same way. It doesn't matter what we see. You see, it's what he sees, and he knows. And in fact, every time that you do something for someone and you end up telling somebody, what happens? You kind of lose your warmth that Jesus is pouring over you, because he wants this to be just you and him. And that's kind of the way I envision Joe operates a lot behind the scenes, and opening his home. I know that you mentioned that to somebody, to coming in and to stay with. Those kinds of things that God knows exactly what you're doing. He knows exactly where you are, and when you open yourself up to let him flow through you, that's where the joy and the peace comes for all of us. And Joe sent me a video, and we're going to play it first and let you see the video. It's about what a Christian is about. Then I'm going to let him, he'll just take it from there and talk. So try to get where you can see this thing, and we haven't done a dry run on this, so let's hope that. Thank you for bringing that forward, Joe.
I was just, and it wasn't because I was going to be here doing this or not, but I just happened to stumble across this. I was looking up things on the internet, and I stumbled upon this about Christians. And the reason that in recovery we have, and it's in the Bible, it's St. Francis prayer. And that's what, when I heard this, that's what, or listened to this, that's what I thought this would be the St. Francis prayer, because just about everything in the St. Francis prayer is the opposite of what it says. Instead of hatred, we bring love. and so on and so forth. I forgot to bring a prayer.
I got it.
You got it?
It's funny, you just pulled it up a couple of days ago.
It just so happens that I stopped at a guy's house early this morning, hoping that I could convince him to come here because he's really struggling in the throes of addiction, and I was hoping that we could get him here and pray with him. And at the last minute, he declined. So by the time I looked at my watch, it was 5 minutes to 8. So it says, Lord, make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love, that where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony, where there is error, I may bring truth, where there is doubt, I may bring faith, where there is despair, I may bring hope, where there are shadows, I bring light, where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant me that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to be understood, or to understand rather than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds, it's by forgiving that one is forgiven, that by dying, that one awakens to eternal life. Nice. And so, that's what this, because I've listened to the St. Francis for quite a few times in recovery, and when I stumbled upon this, it made me ask myself if I was truly a Christian or not. And I don't know a lot about the Bible. Growing up, I didn't have any really religious training whatsoever. We had a little community chapel in the town, and when my mom and dad got divorced, every third or fourth Sunday we would go with my father for the weekend, and then we went to a Catholic church, and they spoke in Latin, so I had no clue what that was about. And so basically my training in the Bible has been in recovery, because I go to a lot of meetings and we talk about, a lot of the things that the St. Francis prayer talked about forgiving and stuff like that. And if in my world, if we condemn the addict, then it's to condemn ourselves because we're not helping them. And so I've opened my home up. Fortunately, I have an understanding wife. She's in addiction, so she understands the process also. And I carry a lot. Last July 4th, I celebrated 29 years in recovery without a drink or a drug. And so in early recovery, my sponsors that I had, they were very, that we went out and helped others. It wasn't about just staying sober. It was about staying sober and helping others. And that's really the format of staying in recovery, is that we help another addict or alcoholic to attain sobriety. So I'm always almost always in that quadrant where I'm helping someone to get started in recovery, or helping someone in the middle throes of recovery that may have gone back in and out. It's a really difficult thing. And if you don't, if you've never been in recovery, then you probably won't understand it. But it would be like a Christian to not have a Bible. So recovery is the same thing without us having our big book, which is not the big book, but it's our Alcoholics Anonymous book, big book. So anyway, when I heard this, of course I had to ask myself the question, if was I presenting myself as a good Christian? And of course, I'm probably as big a sinner as anybody else I know. But over the process of staying in recovery, not only have I worked with other alcoholics and drug addicts, but also I took my language differently. So in other words, I don't curse. When I started in recovery, I didn't lead a very monogamous lifestyle. Because in addiction, that's part of the process, I guess. And so that all changed in recovery. So little by little, because of recovery, because of the rooms like this, and also rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, my whole lifestyle's changed because of that. And if I would have came in here early in recovery to here, I would have been cringed. Because, you know, like I say, if you want to scare somebody, talk about God, and, you know, you might have scared me. But now, I am not afraid to be a Christian. I'm not afraid to promote that I'm a Christian. And I know that this group is really good about doing that, and I know that I've tried my best to bring a few guys here off and on, and, you know, hopefully they stick. There's a couple here this morning that, you know, we've talked about coming here, because now this is another focal point in my life now, where it wasn't until I came here with Charlie, and Charlie, you know, Charlie and I talk about this quite often, is that if it wasn't for a loving God, I wouldn't be saved either. So, and that's why the St. Francis prayer was very instrumental in me looking at both sides of the coin. You know, hatred, forgiveness, love, to be loved. Because the self-centeredness of an addict is really a difficult proposition to break or to submit. So anyway, I hope that maybe that made sense to you. I know that, you know, not everybody here has an addiction problem, but maybe we're addicted to something other than alcohol or drugs. Maybe it's caffeine or sugar or smoking. There's always something that, you know, weight, you know, we put it on, we take it off. Diet can be an addiction. It's, you know, if it's not a lifestyle, it's an addiction. So I think there's always things that divert us from our best being, except for the mind. It doesn't matter whatever size, shape, or form we come in. If my mind is subtle and safe, I'm okay anywhere. I can be okay. You know, I'll tell you what, when I first got sober, we took messages to the jail, and you hear that clink behind you. There's no sound like that anywhere. When that thing shuts behind you and you don't think you're getting back out again, you know, that's like claustrophobia immediately. So, but because I was not only in recovery, but I was also working in a Christian aspect, I could take meetings in and out of prison, and I wasn't feared to go in there and not come back out again. So, anyway, I hope that makes sense.
Let us extend our heartfelt gratitude to Joe for showing us the power of transformation, the importance of extending compassion to others, and the redemptive grace bestowed upon us by Jesus Christ. Recovery for all. Joe Gazzillo's incredible testimony also reminds us that recovery is not confined to a single aspect of life.